Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be looking at Yataro's Abaddon carry. I'm honestly surprised more people aren't experimenting with Abaddon carry. And the reason why I say that, well, there's a couple reasons. Number one, Radiance got buffed pretty significantly, right? This is an item that Abaddon takes advantage of probably better than almost any hero in Dota. Like, I really mean that. The hero already has good base attack time, which means it takes advantage of just flat damage items. Like, literally with just Power Tread, it hits so fast. So having, the extra damage from Radiance is key. It stays alive with the Radiance burn. Radiance is cheaper than ever. And this hero, not only did it get buffed recently where its base attack time is extremely low, meaning it scales very well as a carry, but it's also a universal hero. And I'm sure you guys understand the universal heroes tend to be in the meta right now because of the fact that by buying stats, you can hit really hard. And funny enough, one of the most popular items on every universal hero, Magnus, Wind Carry, Void Spirit, Pango, in a lot of games, these heroes are buying Manta. Manta Abaddon has been a build for a long time, and now it's just better than ever because he's universal. It's been the build, and now it's just better. So it's like kind of weird to me that this hero hasn't seen more light as a carry this patch. I would say the only major downside is that if you do lose your lane, he's not the best carry at recovering in the jungle. And there is a lot of jungle camps, and that benefits the heroes that can. So if you can tie or win your lane, I think the hero looks great, which, if you're improving at Dota and you're watching game league videos, you should be able to do. But without further ado, let's hop into Yataro's Abaddon. Alright, before we get into the main part of the video, I do want to let you guys know that I'm not only posting videos here on YouTube, I also frequently post videos on the website. If you don't know what I'm talking about, almost every single day I'm posting a new video to the Game League website. We're going to teach you guys in depth about how to get to the next level. So if you want to become absolutely broken and really take your game to the next level, I'm going to be able to help you, because sometimes the guides on YouTube, there's either not enough of them, they're not specific, or they're just tier lists, which I know you guys love, but at the end of the day, the Game League website is going to help you get to the next level. So click the link down below and sign up. So from my experience, there's a couple things you need to do in the laning stages of Abaddon. First of all, I like his starting item build. Wand, 3 branches. Might seem a little weird to not have tangos or a quelling blade, but honestly, I just think that this build is so good on universal heroes because it's going to scale well and it makes you hit quite hard. Like in terms of trading, if you go fight heroes, it's very effective at 6 all stats. There are some other builds such as 2 circlets, 2 branches, quelling blade, and tangos, which gives you the same all stats, but it does not give you a wand. Now to be fair, I'm honestly a little surprised he didn't go that build this game, only due to the fact that Viper doesn't really give you very many wand charges, and neither does Bounty, so maybe he just thought he was in a different lane. I don't really know. In the laning stage, there's 2 really cool plays that you can make, in my opinion. Number 1 is like hard running at the enemy. Aphotic Shield is just one of the best trading spells in the game. It's effectively a 220 damage nuke, considering it blocks 110 and then deals 110, for only 85 mana. That's nothing. Nothing. That is nothing, guys. It's so little. And so you can spam this ability, especially with a magic wand, and then you just run at people because it's one of the best spells in the game. It's low cooldown, very effective, low mana cost. The other thing you can do if you want to play a bit more passive is you can just shield your position 5. Like, I unironically have seen Abaddons just click shield on their support. They just click on them and they say, okay, go ahead, do your thing. Go do your thing. I'm in the safe lane. I'm not really going to get bullied out wave 1, wave 2. The wave's near my tower. Of course not, right? I'm already safe. I'll just put the shield on my support and let them do their thing. And so you have these cool 2 options. He opts to kind of more so look to run at the Viper, which makes sense. This is a lane where you want to kill the Viper. Abaddon against Viper is a very good Abaddon matchup because at any point if the Viper oversteps even slightly, you can just run him down or at least bully him out of lane. So we're going to see Yatoro is going to pull a little of creep aggro, and then once they hit level 2, boom, you're going to start to run at him because Curse of the Avernus is a 10% movement speed slow, and eventually when you proc it, it's a 25% slow total, right, as well as 40 attack speed for 4.5 seconds. So essentially, they're just looking for any opportunity where the Viper is going to step up. He steps up, and it's pretty stupid execution. Like, they just run straight through the guy. Now, I think he messes up here. He tries to save his Lich, which I really don't think he needed to do. The Lich wasn't going to die. He spends the time turning around to save the Lich and stops attack moving on the Viper, right? So I actually think he makes a bit of a mistake here, but you can get the gist, right? If he didn't make that play, he would have killed Viper here, and it would have been an easy kill in the lane. So very deadly hero at level 2. You want to chip them down at level 1, and then kill them at level 2. Now, a couple other things I'd like to mention is I think getting the Lotus is really key on this hero, because the Lotus is going to give you that extra bit of mana and HP you want on a hero that's constantly skirmishing. This obviously applies to a lot of Dota heroes. I just think Abaddon is a great contender for like best Lotus heroes. Other than that, you're going to rush boots. There are some other builds you can go if the lane is a bit more staticky. Maybe you're against an Underlord, for instance. Harder to run the guy down, harder to just trade with him. In that case, you can go Bracer with the circlets you've built earlier, right? And that is going to allow you to just play the CS game. So there are two different ways to play. You can play kind of like a Bracer route, or you can go this just Boots build. And the reason why Boots is better against Viper is you don't want to play the CS game against Viper. At some point, he's going to get too strong and chip you down, right? And you don't want that. You want to try to all in this guy or be able to stay away from his autos by pulling creep aggro with high movement speed. So essentially, there's multiple ways you can play Dota. Against Viper, Boots Rush, and other ranged heroes, Boots Rush. Against like heroes you can't bully, better to go Bracer and play the CS game. Now, honestly, from there, guys, the gameplay is pretty simple. You just want to sit in your lane for as long as you can. Like, no joke, you just really want to sit in your lane. Can you rotate? Yeah, if you happen to have high resources because your lane is super passive for some reason, you can look to rotate. You can make a teleport play to save your mid laner, you can TP to the enemy safe lane and try to get a kill there. It's definitely reasonable to make TP plays and try to save and help people as Abaddon, as you're a pretty useful carry early on into the game. However, these plays are all pretty big risks, especially if you have absolute free farm. If you have absolute free farm, most of the time, just stay in your lane. Like you can see, he does make a rotation to mid here on the Sacred Relic timing with the help of a charge, and that's incredibly great awareness. This is the sign of a top level carry player, where they can quickly say, oh, I am free farming, but this is a beautiful TP to not only defend my mid tower, but to also get a kill, right? It's a perfect play from Yatoro. And then he's gonna head back towards his lane. So you don't wanna just sit in the lane that you kill. If you gank mid, you can just run back to your lane. If you gank bottom, you can take the twin gate and go back to your lane. That's typically what you're gonna do. There's exceptions, but that's usually what you do. A couple of other things to note is that at level 10, you're gonna take 8 strength, and then you're not gonna skill your Q at all. So in terms of skilling, you just max out shield whenever you can, then you max out curse. The shield, you can use it to farm. It's very nice. Some people will max E. I don't really think it's that good. I personally prefer the shield max because if fights happen, it's really great to get the cooldown low. It does go up in mana, which kind of sucks a bit, but at the end of the day, being able to spam this ability early game is really strong. And then yeah, you're not going to take your Q at all. Even though it's a pretty decent spell when your ulti is active, it's not that good outside of that. You're better off taking all stats because you're a universal hero. It gives you way more damage than the average hero would get, and so it's very beneficial in Abaddon. Now, once you have Radiance, you should be looking to take fights. Also keep in mind, he got the Spark of Courage neutral item, just wanted to mention that. Very strong item. But yeah, he's gonna pick up an Illusion Rune here, which is great for Radiance Abaddon, as that's gonna give you Radiant solutions, and he's gonna TP top. And this is all you really look to do. You try to push in lanes. I wouldn't jungle too much on this hero. Focus on pushing in lanes, taking only the nearby camps, and then try to connect and pay attention to the fights. You don't just want to AFK farm in this hero because one of your major spikes is on the Radiance. You're easily one of the strongest heroes in Dota on this timing. You can see he takes out the Clinks, and then with the Radiance, gets pretty low and his ulti runs out, but he's able to prevent the Monkey King from tree dancing with the Radiance Burn. Really great play from Yatoro. Is able to kite out the Monkey King and allow them to pick up a major kill on the super farmed carry. And now a pretty quick thing I want to mention is that like, this is kind of why I like the hero. It just farms pretty fast with Radiance. Like, I don't know what else to say. It's just, I feel like it kind of matches the tempo of a lot of the other carries because when you have Radiance, you take Ancients pretty effectively. Right, you can clear up these camps reasonably fast, and then you can connect to a lot of the fights that happen in the early game, right? Clears up this Mud Golem, can confidently hit bottom tower because he has his ulti active, and he has a ton of stats, completes his Yasha now, which is then going to build into the Manta, and he can continue to take very aggressive farm on the map, especially when he knows the enemy team is now roshing. Look what he does. Just straight up takes the tier 2. Curse of the Avernus is so good at taking towers. Like, this ability is insane for taking towers, and he just wipes out the tier 2. His team trades tier 2 for tier 2, actually tier 2 for tier 2 and mid tier 1, so a great trade for them even when they're down in Aegis. And that's just really heads up from Yatoro to understand that, okay, if my team is losing the game, which they are this game, his team was actually doing quite poorly, what he can just do instead, he can just take the enemy tower. And now he has Manta style. And this is when Abaddon completely changes as a hero, because at level 16, not only do you usually have your Manta around level 15, level 16, level 17, but you're also going to have your 65 damage talent at level 15. Your talents give you a total of 73 damage. I mean, that's insane, right? 73 damage, and your Manta is going to proc Curse of the Avernus. So basically, you almost instantly get cursed because it takes 4 hits to proc the Curse of the Avernus, which will then slow them and give you bonus attack speed. And the Manta basically guarantees that whoever you go on will get affected by that. And you'll see in this fight here, he feels incredibly strong. Also, by the way, look at this neutral item, Specialist Array. Most people would never take this on a melee hero, but you can, because it just gives you 12 damage and 5 all stats. 5 all stats on Abaddon is like another 10.5 damage, something like that. So this item gives you 23 damage, you know what I mean? It's just crazy, right? It's actually just a solid damage item that gives all stats too. So nice. But yeah, in this fight here, look at this Monkey King. He's like, bro, you think I'm afraid of you? Look at this Manta timing. Just shreds the guy. Like, what the? It's so much damage. And anyone who goes on him as well, right, goes on the person that Abaddon goes on, gets the 100 bonus attack speed. So you also have a lot of synergy with some other right-click heroes. For instance, this game, he kind of has the Quap synergy. I wouldn't say there's like the best synergy, but either way, it just shreds the Viper. Like, you just hit like a truck, right? You hit like a truck, hitting for 330. Right? On top of that, not only does he hit hard individually, he's burning them with Radiance the entire time. He's able to chase down the Monkey King here. I think he picks up the kill in the end. Yeah, he does. And yeah, game's turned around. 4K deficit, hits his timing because he's a beast, and all of a sudden the game has turned on its head. And one thing to note that's pretty cool about Carry Abaddon is, well, first of all, the next few items, but you don't really have to buy BKB. On top of that, at level 20, you get 85 DPS borrowed time immolation. If you don't know what this means, it basically means when you turn on your borrowed time, so for 6 seconds, when you have it active, you get 85 burn damage. So not only does your Radiance burn for 60, but then your ulti burns for 85. So you're just burning everyone. On this timing, you're crazy strong because you have a Dispel from Manta, you have a Dispel from your W, a Dispel from your ult. So you have 3 Dispels, which means you really don't need BKB. You can't get chain stun on this hero, really. Technically you can if you get Silver Edged, I guess you could, but if you're paying attention, not really. You have to get Silver Edged and silenced, and then you can get burst. That's the only way. Either way, point being is that you hit like a truck because you don't have to buy BKB, right? And look at this clip here. Silver Edge in, this Clinks just gets melted, like absolutely melted. The charge was completely unnecessary, as the slow from Curse of the Avernus would have been more than enough to chase the guy down. From here, he can confidently go high ground, and what's pretty cool about Abaddon too is you're a great high ground hero, you know, without Aegis. I mean, to be fair, guys, something to keep in mind is people will be like, oh, it's fine if I get gone on, my ult's gonna proc. You don't really want to have to proc your ult early. Like, the earlier your ult gets procced, the worse. And people don't understand this. They think, like, it's good if I get gone on. And to some extent, that's true. But if you just get your ulti poked and nothing comes out of it, that's not a good thing. So, like, for instance here, he gets pulled in and his ulti gets popped right away. It ends up being okay because it's a bait for the Monkey King. So that one worked out. But there's examples where, all right, I can't show it in this game because it doesn't happen, but there's examples where you'll just kind of get your ult poked and they kite you out a bit, they wait out the ulti, then they go back in, and that's not a good thing. So don't just like YOLO high ground is essentially what I'm saying. Be pretty calculated about it. If the enemy team has good high ground defense heroes, you can take a little bit of damage, but then try to go heal up, right? Don't just force it. For instance here, he's gonna back up. To be fair, he has no ulti, so he has to be really careful, but he's gonna back up. And then something I thought was really fascinating with this build is that he disassembles his Radiance into a late Nullifier. Then he's gonna take the Talisman of Evasion from the Radiance and build that into a later Butterfly. So really just taking advantage of the disassemble feature here on Abaddon. And that's awesome because Nullifier is one of the best late game items in the game, right? It just is. The amount of items that counter something like a right-click carry Abaddon are really high. Ghost Scepter, Yules, Glimmer, Force. There's so many other things. Abilities, right? Like just plenty of abilities. You can dispel like Magnus Empower, Bloodseeker, Blood Rage. Like there's just so many things that you can dispel in Dota. So you can see this dive onto the Venom seems pretty insane. Unfortunately, it doesn't end up working out. But yeah, with the Harpoon Nullifier, you can stick on top of people like a leech and just take them out, right, on such a low cooldown, because both of these items really don't have much cooldowns at all. By the way, I love this item, Defiant Shell, 7 armor, 7 all attributes. Your hero doesn't have the best armor until it buys Nullifier, so this item is really great. Either way, at this point in the game, he has to be a little bit careful about the Wukong's ring burning his ulti too early, and unfortunately is a little bit countered by Nether Tox in this game if he's not careful, because then Curse will not apply. But he's able to do a good amount of damage to the Viper, but does understand, okay, without my ulti, if it gets burned early, I have to try to kite out. And what's cool about this hero is when you're kiting out and you pop the Mantas, people just get slowed to hell. These Mantas are way more disruptive than like any other hero in the game. Maybe barring Luna and Medusa, right? Maybe like PL, depending on the game, right? It all depends with PL. It depends how farmed he is and if they have heroes to clear. You know what I mean? But either way, he kites out here. Eventually, he's going to go back in. His ulti wasn't coming back up very, very soon, but with the Silver Edge, you can kind of walk in, take out the Monkey King, Harpoon, Nullifier, preventing any sort of turn, then sticks on top of the Clinks. That guy gets destroyed. Like, you really counter these ranged heroes that have to kite in the fights because you just stick on them like no other. And yeah, just cleans up. 4v2. They get the job done. Monkey King says end, and that's where I'm gonna end the video as well. So Monkey King is right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you learned quite a bit. And also, last thing, level 25, you get -1 Curse of the Avernus attacks required, which means when you Manta hit, you instantly silence them because it's 3. So that's pretty crazy too. It's a great level 25 taunt. Either way, just wanted to give you guys some inspiration on a pretty cool carry hero that people aren't really playing. And it's surprising to me because it's most certainly good. Like, it's just good. This is not some meme. This is not some troll build. It's just good. So give it a shot if you're looking for something interesting to play. It's also not that hard to play, honestly. It's mechanically quite easy. So definitely good for beginner carries, intermediate carries, whatever level of carry you can play it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. MMO. Peace.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.